right. Hello and welcome, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Let's Talk Fabulous with Tamra. I am your guest host today, Kim O'Neill, and today we're talking about the privilege of aging. Let's talk. All right, we are back and we have everyone here with us. Hello and welcome to everybody who's with us in the audience as well. Let's do a quick, just real briefly, I want to go around to all of our panelists today and just hear where are you located in the world? And we'll start with the person next to me. Okay, she's over here. Start with the person next to me. Go ahead and tell us your name and where you are.
I'm Joan McDermott and I'm from Davis, California.
And Jodie?
Hi, I'm Jodie Jensen, and I'm joining you from Utah.
Awesome. And right below Jodie, we have Denicia.
Hey, everybody. I'm Denicia Hilton Harper, and I'm in Clearwater of Tampa Bay, Florida.
Awesome. And last but so not least, so glad to see Clark here. Clark, where are you joining us from today?
I am Clark Roberts, joining you from Bellevue, Washington, in the Seattle area.
I love it. I love it. And to everyone who's with us today, let us know, where are you joining us from? Let us know down in the chat. We love interacting with you, and we have our behind the scenes team connecting with all of you. And I love seeing that. So today, quick little announcement as well. Today, if you've been watching the show, you know that we have our digital sidekick Renee, who's typically with us and gives us a nice little message. She is on a break for this week. And so just want to say hello and thank you to her and hope she's having a wonderful time. And so let's get into today's topic. Today, we are talking about the privilege of aging, the privilege of aging. And along with that, there are so many different things that can come up. And that's what I love about today's panelists, because we all come from a variety of backgrounds and experiences. All of us can relate to the process of aging, regardless of what our age is, right? It doesn't matter how old you are, we're all experiencing aging on some level. And in addition to that, today is also Grandparents' Day. The conversation is not centering around grandparents, but we absolutely want to acknowledge that. So let's take a quick moment to do so. And so, of our panelists, is there anyone here that is a grandparent that would like to acknowledge that fact? And Clark?
I am a very, very proud grandparent of 3 incredible granddaughters. And yes, love to give a great big shout out to Nora, Audrey, and Hadley.
Awesome. Thank you for that, Clark. And I'm not a grandparent, but I think it's amazing. I loved my grandparents when they were around. And anybody else would like to share some thoughts about their grandparents, or if you are a grandparent?
My grandmother didn't die until she was 99 years old. And so some of my kids actually have the chance to have a bit of a relationship with her when they were a lot younger. And I really love that multi-generational feeling of closeness and togetherness in my family. It means so much to me because she was somebody who means so much to me. So for them to have memories with her as well, really, I'm happy for them to take that into the next generation.
Yeah, I totally hear you on that. Yes. Okay, Denicia, yeah.
I was going to say, I'm actually going to go see mine soon. So I'm kind of looking forward to that and her seeing what a feistiness is coming out now.
I love
But
that.
I
love that.
love it. I like have my memories of going and spending summers with her and stuff like that. So, for sure, this was a great reminder. Now I'm like, oh, I want to call her today.
Yeah, yeah. I think when we talk about the privilege of aging, it's so easy to have our minds immediately go towards, well then, anybody who's older and right might be a grandparent. And so I'm glad that we get to honor grandparents today and really, include them into the show. But let's get into talking about this privilege of aging. Not everyone has the privilege to age, right? Who has an initial thought that they would like to share, that like what comes to mind first when you think about the privilege of aging? Jodie.
I've had a few friends who have lost children, who their children have passed away over the past few years. And it has been something that's brought to the forefront of my mind, that just what you're saying, the privilege of aging, because I have a newfound depth of respect for the sanctity of this one life that we get to live. And for so many people who die before it seems fair for them to pass away, it's just that privilege is taken away from them. And so every day that I get older and every little wrinkle that I get, I try to remember that it is a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful thing.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. Anybody else have some initial thoughts about the privilege of aging? Clark.
Well, I look at it as life is this incredible gift that we've all been given by God. And first and foremost, it all starts by trusting Him, and knowing that I've been given this life as well as this gift of sight loss, so that I can move forward. And it's really truly living out this life. And it's not only just living out this life, but it's cherishing it and then sharing it, because it doesn't do any good if you just keep it all bottled up and don't do anything with it.
That's such a good point, Clark. Clark, do you mind if I ask, at what age were you when you lost your sight?
I was 18 and a freshman in college when they diagnosed my sight loss, and by age 24, it was gone.
Wow.
So, but I mean, yeah, I mean, whether you can see or you cannot see, life continues to move forward. And the fact is of having that opportunity to share is where the value comes, as far as inspiring others. But as far as you inspire others, they inspire you and pull you along as you continue to move forward and have that incredible, fulfilled life that you can have.
Absolutely. Well, and I think something that tends to be pretty common is when any of us go through an unexpected life change, it can be easy to, I know I can think of some people right now, and it can be so easy to come to that conclusion of like, oh, my life is over, right? Like that's it. It's over. Everything's done, right? And to really come to that kind of mindset and feeling space, or we can like shift and say, wait a second, what's next for me? How am I going to live in this way now? Does anybody have any thoughts they'd like to share to that?
Oh, I would love to share to that. When I hear the privilege of aging, I think immediately of how grateful I am to be in this age. I'll be 87 October 5th, but I feel like I'm getting younger instead of older. And it's living in this electronic age that is so new and so wonderful. And I'm dabbling in AI, and I'm doing all these things that were never possible in my day. And it is such a gift to me to keep moving forward. And in that move forward, there's expansion. That is a privilege and a gift. Yeah.
Joan, I love that you said that, because something that I've been noticed. So I am 44, about to be 45 in a few weeks. And I've noticed that the older I get, the more I realize how young I still am. And I'm grateful for that, because it's very easy for us to get caught up in the stories about like, oh, well, at this age, you should be doing this or that, or you should have already accomplished this or that, right? It's so easy for us to get caught up in stories and let those be running our life, rather than looking at things from, wait a second, what's the story I want to create for my life? Does that resonate for anybody, talking about the stories we have for our life and how it relates to our age? Clark?
Well, as far as the stories, I mean, yeah, I mean, you know, we all have stories from different places, different ages, different activities. But really, truly, the key, or at least the key, as far as I feel, is the fact of trying. Because if you never ever try, you're never gonna do anything. I mean, the one individual who she just said that she's talking about learning how to interact with AI. It's continually moving forward, continually trying, and realizing that, as my quote says, our accomplishments in life are not measured by our abilities or disabilities, but rather by the willingness to try. So as you continue to try, you continue to learn, and as you continue to learn, you continue to grow, and you continue to move forward, and you don't feel old.
Exactly. And you know what? I think that is so key. And actually, I'm going to go ahead and acknowledge for everyone who's with us today. I see that Clark's name on the screen is actually a different name. It's his wonderful wife's name. I'm going to adjust that for you, Clark, so we can all see your name on the screen. You just made a point that I just completely lost, because I wanted to acknowledge your name, Clark. So that's okay. What I am, yeah, go ahead, Denicia. Do you want to add to that?
Yeah, I was what I kept hearing that everyone was actually talking about too is just privilege actually meaning opportunity, and really seeing the many types of opportunities that can come for you yourself in your own journey, but then the opportunities of what it is that we can offer to the collective, like the wisdom, the experience, all of that, right? Like it's just this glorious, vast land of infinite possibilities and potential that comes with aging. And I mean, even just with the body, that's what it does. Those cells look at what's the next opportunity, so I can inform the next cell that needs to come about. And what is it going to do now? And we do the same thing as we continue.
Yeah, I love that. Thank you for saying that, Denicia. I think that's part of, yeah, what Clark was saying that was coming up for me was, I guess, about that opportunity aspect, because that's how powerful we are. If we choose to shift into, oh, that's it, life is over, I'm done, I've hit a certain mark and that's it. Or are we going to say, wait a second, I have more opportunities, I'm going to try this, I'm going to try that. It makes all the difference. And something I want to go ahead and share on screen is, I had asked today's panelists, I said, what are your like top 5 things? What are you grateful for about aging? What comes to mind for you? What stands out that you appreciate? Whatever comes to mind. And I want to share what one of our panelists sent through, and we'll elaborate on it after the video. So here we go. Joan, I'm going to put you in the center here. Thank you for sharing those thoughts. It's taking a few moments. Here we go. Joan, thank you for sharing those thoughts of what you appreciate about. I'm gonna go like this. There we go. About what you appreciate about aging. What would you elaborate on some of what was in that video about appreciating technology and gifts and challenges and all this stuff?
Yes, I couldn't believe that there were all the things what I was watching on the screen. It was like I was just connecting again with every one of those thoughts that I had put down for my reasons, feeling the privilege of aging. And I have to say that in this recent past, it really showed up big time, because I'm a firm believer that things happen for us, not to us. And I was recently frauded and devoid of one of my bank accounts was empty. In fact, the only bank account I really have that has money in it. And, after I got through the shock, I began to live the grief program I had set up for others. I began to live it once more for myself. And in this age of expansion, I felt the truth that happened for me, because what it did was wake me up to parts of me that I had never gotten into, what to do with my finances, how to go about it. I was just happily going along with whatever I had, and was never, so money centered. But I learned a whole lot about me and how much I can learn from others, especially the younger people that are so into what's going on in the world and how eager they were to help me. And it has been just a beautiful journey once more in discovering that life is expansive and anything is possible. And just happy to be here with all of you to share that.
Okay, I got to do this for that.
Say that.
It didn't. Hold on. Okay, had to put that amazing video up there because I think that's what it all comes down to, Joan. You have an experience that feels like a challenge, being victimized, something that hurts, that is frustrating, confusing, right? All the words of like, I don't want this. And you're seeing the gift and, oh my gosh, it's bringing my attention towards something I never paid attention to before. It's connecting me with other people who want to help me and are eager to do so. And I love that. It was a great example. Does anybody else have some like top things they'd like to share that come to mind when you think about what you appreciate about aging? Denise, I'm going to put you in the. Oh, I see Clark's hand. Clark.
I think one of the first things that I come back to is you have to trust. Not only do you have to trust yourself, but you have to be willing to trust others. And of course, my trust starts first of all by trusting God, but knowing also that as you trust, then you have those people who you can allow to come alongside of you and to assist you in those places and those times when you need them. But I mean, it starts by trusting, and at the same time as you're trusting, it's also shifting your thought life, your thoughts to knowing that you can trust people and moving forward.
Yeah, definitely. Being able to trust people and I think that's something that also evolves for people as they get older, is learning how to trust others and seeing yourself as part of the whole fabric of life, right? Of society. It's like, okay, I don't have to do everything on my own. I'm here on living this life with other people. It doesn't have to be so hard. I can let others help me out as I grow older.
Yep.
Jodie, I saw your hand raised a moment ago.
Yeah, I actually wanted to piggyback a little bit on what Joan was saying about some of the privileges of getting older and seeing it as opportunities to learn. And first of all, I just have to say, Joan, you inspire me. The way that you can tell that story with such a beautiful smile on your face, like I feel really moved by your story to see that you have the perspective that you have, because a lot of people would not have that same kind of perspective. So thank you for sharing that with us. And a little bit of my story is I have several weird autoimmune problems. And we don't really know what's wrong with me, but at different stages of my life, I've had different really down times. And this was about maybe 8 years ago. We were pretty sure I had MS because I had all of the symptoms, and I was starting to feel like everything was kind of falling apart. Like I lost control of one of my legs for a little while. I was having pins and needles feelings all over my body and like electric shock feeling. I would go numb certain areas. It was very scary and very disconcerting to be, in my 30s and all of a sudden be going down this path of quick degeneration. And I didn't know what the next step was. I knew that people who went down this path as quickly as I was going down this path ended up in, reclined wheelchairs. And it was very, very scary for me. And so I spent a lot of nights researching. I couldn't sleep because I, first of all, wasn't feeling well. And then second of all, was so caught up in my mind with what's happening to my body. And I had one night where I was reading up on different people who have multiple sclerosis because I was pretty sure that's what it was. I don't think it is. It's some other neurological disorder, but at this point I thought that's what I was dealing with. And I found that Anne Romney, who's the wife of Mitt Romney, she has MS, and she was able to use her difficulty in her life to create a platform. And she was able to use it to help other people. And it was a huge paradigm shift for me, where I went from feeling sorry for myself and thinking, oh, well, this is it. Like it's all downhill from here and it's quick downhill from here, to thinking outside of myself and thinking maybe going back to what Clark was saying, maybe God gave this opportunity to me for a reason so that I can use not only this challenge, but my other gifts and talents that God has given me to bless the world in a certain way. And maybe it's just giving me some more focused direction. Whereas I'm the kind of person who just wants to bring world peace. Like that was what I used to say in high school. I just want world peace, and I want to figure out how to get that. That's very naive, and it's very broad. It's way too broad. And when we have difficulties in our lives as we're getting older, what I see that as an opportunity to focus, right? Like focus on your people who are also struggling with something similar to you. Find those people and be a source of strength for them.
Oh, Jodie, here we go. Focus to direction. What a mind shift right there about any challenges that we could all experience. Okay, so let's take a moment. I want to. Oh, Denicia, I think you had something to add. Did you want to add something?
Oh yeah, I would like to actually. So some of the things I touched on even before, like about the possibilities and the potential, right? But then also I see it as, wow, this is just more and more time to just really come into more being who you are, and who you are at your core essence, your true being, right? And like you just began to see more and more that what people need from you and the collective needs from you is just for you to be you. That means then that whatever is coming to you that is your gift, it was solely written just for you. And then as we age, we begin to see that like all the other things that, were on the outside and all of that was just juice. It was just serving as reflections for you to be able to see like, that was awesome for me to experience that. And now that means that I could actually be like really genuinely my perfect authentic self. And I know that when you use the word perfect, that tickles people in a certain kind of way. And I grew up with that, like thinking, oh my gosh, like the only person who's perfect is God, right? And then I came to learn, well, God is within you. And so if God is within you, then that means that you are perfect as well. And then it took someone else who is studied linguistics, and she's so awesome. She's the one who told me, because I was just using this word perfect, and she's like, yeah, you know the root meaning of it? And I was like, no, what is it? And she said, it means whole and complete. And so where it is that we start to really see through our aging, and the time thing is a man-made thing. It's just whatever time it is that's for you. It's all perfect, and all of it is just there, right? And we're exuding that in every way that we can as we age. So yeah, that's my perspective. I didn't quite do it in 5 things or steps, but it just kind of came out.
That's just right. It absolutely resonates with me. I created my own little list of 5 things, and I think you touched on like 2 or 3 with that one statement. It's so much easier the older we get to accept ourselves and others as we are, right? Yeah. So much. All the mind chatter and stuff, the stories we make up about not being good enough, or we're supposed to be different or anything. Like, it's like, oh my goodness, let that go. I'm just going to be, like you said, live, right? And then I just want to add, hindsight is 20/20. As we get older, we get to experience more of that hindsight and have that clarity and deeper understanding of things that have played out and why this and why that, because we've been able to live through those things. So that's what showed up for me. Clark, what came up for you?
Well, I think that it's realizing and understanding that this life that we have, at whatever the number is or the age is, that it is that gift. And I mean, I go back to when I was diagnosed with my sight loss, and I thought that life was all done, is all over, and there really wasn't going to be anything left to live for. And so I thought about throwing it all away. And I think that's normal for a lot of people in a lot of different situations. But I'm so very, very grateful that because I accepted the grace and the strength of God, that I didn't go throw it away, because of all of the blessings and all the privileges and all of the opportunities that I've had and continue to have to share that life is this incredible gift, and it needs to be cherished, and it needs to be shared wherever you go, whatever you do, and whoever you're with. I mean, that's the excitement of whatever, however long that we get with this life.
Absolutely. When we make those shifts to turn that tide from, oh my goodness, life is over, to what am I going to do with this? How am I going to approach the next step? I mean, so much more strength and getting to see ourselves in a new light. I think that's one of the gifts that comes through, realizing how strong we are. Absolutely. So let's take a quick little, let me see here. I have a few things I want to do. I'm so excited about today's show. I really do. I love this topic. And thank you to everyone who's with us today, chiming in the chat. We're going to take a quick moment to just acknowledge the tour of coming again. And then we're going to come back and touch on some of the lighter side of aging. So here we go. We'll be right back.
The word is out. The Tour of Love show is coming back.
Let me tell you, with our amazing reach and the success with our international audience, E360 TV is excited to have us back.
And boy, could the world use some higher vibes now.
Today, more than ever, people are feeling the pain. They're feeling like, what is going on, and love can absolutely change the world.
Raising the frequency through love.
Oh, hi, I'm Fran Kaplan, the Guinness Book of World Records fastest talking female in the world. I also hold 9 world records. I did a book signing on top of Kilimanjaro, down by the wreck site of the Titanic. I've written 22 books. I'm a comic. I do a lot of things. But the thing that I'm really excited about now is that I am joining the Tour of Love. And I am going to be joining it with a lot of talented people.
It's that energy that connects us to dreams, our imagination, our faith. It's about being love connected. It's joy, love, laughter. It's the love in finding our purpose and why we're here at this time. It's finding the love along the journey, trusting the destination will be determined by each step.
I mean, my philosophy is live every day as if it's your last, and one day you'll be right.
If you're ready to join us on this journey, well, the time is now, and the need is now. It's time for the Tour of Love show. L-O-V-E, all we need is love.
Love that. I love that video and the joke at the end, and all we need is love. What comes up for you all as you think about incorporating love into your aging journey?
Love is the answer. What's the question? And this God of ours is a God of love. And we're all here sitting together in this place of love right now. I'm just so happy to be here.
Absolutely. And I think that love is really a big piece of what helps us get to that place of, it doesn't have to be, but can be a really big helper in getting to that space of accepting ourselves more, right? Accepting circumstances, accepting conditions. When we learn to release maybe anger or frustration about why something is a certain way, and simply just allow the love to come into place. Forgive your flaws, love yourself better. Forgive others' mistakes or flaws, love them even more, just as they are. That's what's coming up for me. I want to share something, because we were talking about, I mentioned, touching on the lighter side of aging, and we've been talking about this accepting of self and circumstances. And I want to showcase something that this was very last minute for me. So if Barbara's watching today, this was just very last minute, but I want to infuse this into the show. I think we're all familiar with this, and let's take a quick minute to watch this.
I love that. Oh my gosh. I love it.
Okay, I know, right? I love that video too. So Clark, what we just showed on camera was this video. It's been around for many years, at least 10 plus years now, of this older man, and he's got literally like a grocery bag hanging from his pants, and he has canes that he uses to help him walk, but he decides he's just going to start dancing, and he's moving however he wants to move, and then he throws his canes and people are cheering for him, and he just dances. He dances like no one is watching, but everyone's watching. And I think it's one of the most fun videos ever, because doesn't it remind us that, hey, it's okay to be you and just let loose and have fun, be free. What comes up for Clark? Do you want to comment on that? Clark. Oh, I think Clark, I don't know why we can't hear Clark all of a sudden. Hey, Clark, I don't know why, but we actually can't hear you right now. Hold that thought, and then we will try again in a moment. Denicia, what thoughts did you have about that?
Yeah, I actually, and this is kind of interesting. I think it's synchro destiny. But when you were asking about the love, right? I actually do believe that love is truly blind. And this, in the sense that with love, you don't see the stuff that's on surface. You see past it. Like, it doesn't matter. It's not even the visual, like what you see, but the experiences, the things that we actually attach and form judgments on, right? Like, but with love, that doesn't matter. It's not even there. It's right, like truly seeing the spirit in others and in people. And even with the guy in the video, right? It's like you just want to smile, because it's just an example of pure joy simply coming out of him, like, and he's just so connected to himself, and he's just like, okay, it's like it was a liberation. Like I was like, whoa, he is free. Like, it's like, just said here.
That is such a good word, liberation. And it's so common for liberation to be something that's experienced later in life as an older person. It's okay for them to do whatever they want, right? They automatically have almost everyone's permission to do whatever they want. And here all the rest of us are like, okay, maybe in another 30 years, I'll let myself be liberated. Right?
But why wait?
Exactly. Exactly. Clark, excuse me, Clark. Let's see if we can hear you again.
No,
Go ahead and say something. Did I hear a noise?
his sound is off.
You know what, Clark? I don't know why we can't hear you all of a sudden. I know you guys are working on it on your end. That's okay. We have this awesome comment I do want to highlight here from Ultimate Vision. And the comment is, as a blind individual, you see life differently. Clark gets to see the heart of others and live life to the fullest, bringing others with him. And what I love about this, so we're going to acknowledge Carrie, because Carrie is Clark's wife and she is with us behind the scenes also. Exactly. Snap, snap, snap for Carrie and all her awesomeness. And Ultimate Vision is part of what Clark does. But let's acknowledge this, because this also speaks to what you were just saying, Denicia, about love being blind. Clark gets to see the heart of others and live life to the fullest, bringing others with him. So what a unique perspective that how, it's like when we have our eyes closed, we can actually see more clearly. Yeah.
Oh yeah. And biologically, it's what's interesting too. It's like this sight is one of our strongest, right? It's one of our strongest senses. However, smell is the one that we actually register first and don't even realize it, right? So and you meditate, usually your eyes are closed because you're actually decreasing how much it is that you're processing outside of yourself. And so if you can imagine that if love is truly blind, it's really seeing if all of it you couldn't even see. And you're just solely relying on that spirit sense.
Yeah.
What opens up? Right.
You know what, Jodie or Joan, do either of you what are your thoughts about love, infusing love so that you can see yourself better through your own aging journey? Any thoughts come to mind for either of you, Jodie or Joan?
Oh, yes. I belong to this little group from Australia. A young girl started it, and it's called Love Out Loud. And I know that for myself, listening to Denicia just now, it's so true. I'll close my eyes and drop down into the embodiment of love within me, and I see so much more clearly. And, our friend Clark has spoken so well in so many areas, and because he's able to do that all the time.
Absolutely. And Clark, I see we have you with us. Go ahead and say a few words, see if we can hear you. Oh, that's okay. That's okay. They're still working on it. That's okay. It's all good. We roll with it. I want to take a moment to, let's see here. So many things. Let's take another lighter side of life. And I want to pop something on the screen. I'll give you a moment here. I just saw this the other day. There's a meme that says, at my age, I'm good at multitasking. I can listen, ignore, and forget all at once. Anybody want to speak to that?
My thought is maybe she's a mother, because I'm not the same age as her, but I have 5 children and I find myself forgetting a lot of things. And my kids are like, how is it that you don't remember that? And I think you have a very short amount of life that you're trying to remember. And I have all of my life plus all of your life and all of your little details that I'm trying to remember. It's hard to keep track of everything.
You know what? Thank you for mentioning that. Yeah, Jodie, how many kids do you have? I
have 5.
5 kids. Okay. Shout out to all the mothers out there doing as many things as they can. And what I love about what you just said, Jodie, is that absolutely connects right with that whole concept of loving yourself better as you move through the aging process. Because, yes, they're their kids and you love them and they're just making a comment. We expect things like that. But let's say someone else out in the world, might say something to any of us like, well, how come you're not doing that better? Right? Or how come you don't remember that? Or how come this? And when you've got other moving pieces of life, it can, this is just showing up for me. It can be easier for us to say, well, because I've got all of these other things going on and I'm not going to let that comment affect how I see myself. I'm going to still love myself because this is where I'm at right now. That's what's showing up. I wanted to say that. Anybody have?
Yeah, can I mention something about that as well? I actually recently heard about a study that's being done. It's a longitudinal study in Dublin, Ireland. The lead investigator is named Roseanne Kenny. She's a geriatrician. She's looking at what it's like to get older, specifically looking at people in Ireland, but I think a lot of what they're finding is applicable across the world. It's called the Tilda study, if you want to look it up. But one thing that they found from their study is that as people get into their 50s, 60s, 70s, they're actually a lot happier than when they were in their teens, 20s, 30s, and 40s, which I think is really interesting because when you, when you're a kid and you're looking at what it's going to be like to be happy, you're thinking about what it's like when you're like in your 20s and you've arrived, you're at your physical peak in your 20s. And after you've passed that peak, your physical peak, you start to view things as kind of downhill. And I'm in my 40s now, and I have thought, well, I'm over the hill now, and it's all downhill from here. But when I read about that study, I thought that was so interesting that it's actually I have a lot more to look forward to than what I have behind me. So one of the things, some of the things that they mentioned in the study are that number one, people are not raising small children, so they have a lot more flexibility. And let's be honest, it's a very difficult phase of life when you have lots of little people demanding a lot of you. It's physically demanding, it's emotionally demanding. So you have more freedom, you're still in good health, and you have more money. And one of the biggest things that they found was that you don't care as much about what other people think of you. And so you're just a lot happier because you're not constantly comparing yourself to everybody around you. And I think that is a beautiful privilege of getting older, is that you have, like people have mentioned, more hindsight is 2020. Like you have more experience to draw from, and you learn to be just more okay with who you are, and you're more okay in your own skin.
Yes, I love that part big time. Clark, we have you back and I think we can hear you now.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yay.
Yes.
Yay.
Whoa. Well, first of all, let me give say a couple things. First of all, what?
Loved what she said. Loved what you said.
Loved what you said. Second of all, thank you for back to when you described about the video of the gentleman dancing. I love it when people take time to do a verbal description of what's happening for somebody who cannot see. Also, back to the comment that was stated about love being blind. Yes, love is blind. And blind dates are wonderful and incredible. My wife went out on one 25 years ago, and she'll tell you that she absolutely recommends blind dates.
Oh, love that.
But it's true as far as when you don't see from the perspective of myself, that you don't look at the exterior of the individual. You don't get caught up on the exterior of the individual. You see who the person is. And there's so much of life that passes in front of anybody that you don't meet a lot of people because you don't take time to meet the person who's inside and get to know that individual. Yeah. As far as where you are, as far as age, doesn't matter. And it's the fact of appreciating, enjoying this life that God's given to each and every one of us, and to cherish it and share it at whatever age you are. So, yeah.
I love that, Clark. And absolutely, it's so key about us all learning how to look within and see ourselves, and also be able to see other people within their heart. I want to showcase, we have a short little video clip, but I want to move into some of the experiences that we get to have the more that we age. And I think I'm not even going to preface it anymore. Let me just go ahead and showcase on screen what we have. And Clark, this is your clip. So here's what we're going to show.
That was amazing.
I know, wasn't it, Clark? So we showed your clip of you water skiing and added some music to it and stuff. But you're a testament to, you can do anything, even if you've lost your sight. It's, there are no limitations.
Absolutely. There is no limitation to what you can go out and do. And it comes back to this whole aspect of trying, but it's also comes back to the fact of this 4-letter word that I heard over and over in those first beginning stages of my sight loss. And that 4-letter word is can't. And I got real tired of people telling me that I couldn't before I had the opportunity to go out and try. And so at age 69, I'll be very honest. I'll be 69 in October. I still water ski. I still snow ski. I still go tandem bike riding. I still go out jumping out of perfectly good airplanes, doing all kinds of crazy things, because life is a gift. It's exciting. It's wonderful. It's full. And you can go do whatever it is that you want to do. And don't let people tell you that you cannot go do it.
You know what? What's coming to mind? We have another video for one of our other panelists here, and you don't know what's coming. But I want to add that we almost could have titled today's show, instead of the privilege of aging. I mean, we do that because we tend to think of age in a negative light, but we could have also called the show the privilege of living, because we can get old and still choose to not live, right? Yeah. We can continue to age and not take advantage of these opportunities. We're shifting our mindset, different, unique things that are still available to all of us in the world to experience. And with that, I want to go ahead and move into this next video clip. She doesn't know it's coming, and hope she's okay with it. It's fun. Here we go.
Oh my gosh, we're doing baby goat yoga. I can't, I'm so excited. Great on the Oh, bless you. Oh. Shoulders sink down. How do you focus on doing yoga and you have all these little baby yogas, little baby goats? Oh, lovely. Hands come down.
That was great.
Yeah, totally wasn't expecting that, and I actually want to go again soon.
So we just showed a clip of Nithya doing goat yoga, where there's the common visuals of goats literally hopping on people's backs while they're trying to do yoga. And Denicia, I've done it once before too, and it was hilarious and fun and such a distraction and such a great experience. So I had to share that.
Thank you.
What else did you take away from that? Because I mean, this kind of a fairly new type of form of yoga. What made you want to go do that?
So I like petting animals, certain animals, and so I was like, I get to actually just be right there with them. Awesome. And actually, in hindsight, my learning and actually going through instruction as well to teach and instruct with yoga at this time now, like my whole appreciation for yoga is different. Like you realize like yoga actually means to be and to come into union with self. And so I was like, whoa, it was kind of like planting those little seeds way back then too during that time. But I mean, when you're with those baby goats, I mean, those baby goats are just being themselves, and they're just like, I'm just gonna hop around, just flit, like it doesn't even matter, and people are just gonna kind of roll with it. And in a way, I think that's also what we've been talking about today is you just come into being you and you flit around and do whatever, and people are going to roll with you or they're not. And it's actually either one is okay, right? I'm curious to see what comes out of kangaroo yoga. I just learned that that's near me and I was like, "What?"
Wow.
I know.
So
I will report back.
Yeah. Clark, what do you want to add to that?
So to piggyback off of the comment about kangaroo yoga, in Australia they don't have guide dogs. They've got guide kangas. You hop on the pouch and away you go.
Oh my goodness. Wow. Okay. So we are, we're not done with the show yet, but we are nearing towards the end. And so let's just talk a moment about choosing to say yes to new experiences. Why, if we are here, if we are living, if we're growing older, talk about, let's say a few words about choosing to say yes to new experiences. Joan, I'm gonna ask you first. What are your thoughts about saying yes? You're in your late 80s and you have a whole new coaching program. You're working with people and you're here still learning from your life experiences. Say more about that.
Oh, yes. I've learned to say yes. For instance, you asked me to be on with you in this, and I said yes. And I didn't even hesitate. In the past, I have hesitated. But, since when bigger things happen to you, there's an expansion in your insides. And my insides are saying yes to just about anything that is proposed that is in the service of what my purpose is. And it's my purpose in life is to serve the poor in some way, and everyone's poor in some way, but on my side to serve them with love, whether it's my neighbor or whether it's, somebody in my profession or somebody like you.
Well,
I've said yes to you 3 times.
I know. Yeah, Joan and I have had many interviews at this point. Exactly. Clark, go ahead.
So yes, I mean to piggyback off what she's saying, that if you're not continuing to learn and to grow, not to look at it negatively, but you're dying. I mean, because you're allowing yourself to continue, as that aging process is moving forward, not to continue learning and growing and having that mindset of wanting to learn. Part of what I get to do is not only just learning new things, but it's allowing people to see, just because they're losing eyesight, because I get to come alongside of individuals and serve them and show them and encourage them that life is still able to be okay and to be full and exciting, to go out and do all the things that they want to do. Maybe they're not going to go do all the things that I do, but that's okay. But it's helping them to understand as they walk through this process that they're going to be okay, and they can, if they start to trust, if they start to use the tools, the technology, all the things that are available to them, that they can move forward and have that fulfilled, exciting life as we all serve others.
I thank you for sharing that, Clark. And what I want to acknowledge here is, for instance, all of today's panelists, they all said yes to this conversation. Now, I have to be honest, this topic, the privilege of aging, really excited me. And I was like, yes. And I didn't have any issues of thinking about getting people to be interested in being on this panel. But I hit a roadblock I didn't anticipate. And what that was is there were actually a good number of people who, when they heard the topic, the privilege of aging, and the fact that it was coinciding with Grandparents' Day, all of a sudden a lot of people had a block. And they said, oh, well, I'm not a grandparent. Or, I'm not older. And they completely excluded themselves from being part of this conversation when I already was like, I'm approaching you because I see that you can add value. And I know that you would be a great panelist for this conversation. And so I share that as an example of one way that we can block ourselves from taking advantage and saying yes to new things that show up? And on the flip side of that, are we going to wait for new opportunities to show up before we say yes to life? What if we were to simply say, you know what, I'm here right now. I'm going to choose to say, what can I grow from? What can I say yes to and allow a new opportunity, open the door for a new opportunity to show up in your life as you're moving forward? We are nearing the end of our conversation today. And I want to say again, thank you so much to everyone who's been here with us. All of our live chat comments, you guys are rocking it. There are so many, and I'm so grateful for our production team who's helping out and behind the scenes. Thank you. I want to go around real quickly and, like 30 seconds, actually, that's actually too much, like 20 seconds for each person here to share your final thoughts. And Denicia, I'm going to start with you. Denicia, what are your final thoughts?
Just trust and believe that you are perfect as you are, even as you continue along in your aging.
I love that. Joan, what are your final thoughts?
My final thought is to learn to love myself so that I can love others better.
Oh, so good. Jodie, how about you?
My final thought is that there is a difference between lifespan and health span. And we need to pay attention to not just getting older and like it being a slow and steady decline. We can increase our health span by doing things like eating healthy, exercising, spending quality time with other people. There's a lot of research that says that spending quality time with people is what's going to make you healthier as you get older.
Oh, that's such a great point. And Clark, your final thoughts?
Life is a gift, no matter what it gives to you, but you unwrap it, you cherish it, and you share it wherever you go, whatever you do, and whoever you are with.
Absolutely. Yeah. Snap, snap, snap. We're all snapping on that one. Okay. Thank you to everyone who's been here with us today. You and your life are a gift. I love the distinction between lifespan, health span, and it's all about how we choose to look at it, what we choose to do with it. I hope you allow yourself to live most fully. Have an amazing rest of your day, and we'll see you all again very, very soon.
Thank you, Kim.
Thank you, everybody. Stay right there. We're closing out the show. I've got to get my little, here it is. Bye for now, everybody.
I want to say thank you for joining us today and welcome you back next Sunday as we once again are joined by a panel of subject matter experts that will explore and focus in on our fabulous lives. Until next Sunday.